All right. And Ms. Grayson and Ms. Hunt, would you like to ask a question? And I believe, if I'm counting correctly, this is your last question.
We'd like to ask a safety question, because even though you've heard that there won't be any waivers or exceptions asked for, we just found out last week that, for instance, you need a waiver from the Corps in order to put trees in the levee. So our question is, given that the Trinity floodway's primary purpose is to protect Dallas from catastrophic flooding, that is why that floodway, not floodplain, floodway is there, why would you advocate for waivers and exceptions to the Corps' mandated safety policies that could weaken our levees in order to put a toll road in there?
I can assure you that you are doing nothing to weaken that levee. And you don't need to take my word for it. Take the Army Corps of Engineers, because they're the ones that have the responsibility for it. They're the ones that we're working with. They're the ones that were in my office that I asked the question of. Very straightforward. And again, we can read the letter again, but there's no waivers, there's no exceptions. And in fact, this whole issue on the trees that came out, if you would have read the paper the second day, it would have pointed out that by putting them in pots, you can do it. Again, we're going to work with them in a number of different ways, work with exceptions and those sorts of things. There's no waivers, there's nothing coming in. There's a lot of different opportunities on this. The Corps has signed off on the safety issues. They've signed off on the environmental issues. They feel very comfortable with it. They're the experts. Don't take our word for it.
And let's go to, if you make the assumption that you only have grasses and bushes along the road, okay, that provide a context-sensitive design, is it your understanding that you can put the trees into the floodway? And Ms. Hunt, you referenced earlier that indeed it causes the water to go faster, and you have two issues there: water going faster if you narrow, and water going faster because you're doing lakes. And so indeed the balance to that is what the Corps has said: you can put in all the trees you want down in the floodway. So if you put those trees along the levee, along the bench where the road is, to shield the road, because I don't think you're as concerned about the actual drivers as you are about those folks in the park, if I understand that right. So you can put any kind of tree down in the floodway that you want, according to the Corps and according to the discussion with all the engineers. So if you put those larger trees along the other side and they shield the road, tell me again, what is your issue?
Okay, was that your final question, or was that the statement? That was part of your answer. Okay, and now it would be time for Ms. Lill and Mr.